new to our channel, welcome. We are the Sammie Nicole and FeeFee show, and we are a dynamic mother-daughter duo. And here on our channel, we discuss all things love, relationships, and a little bit of pop culture as well. And today we are coming to you guys live and direct with a pop-up show, y'all, because we got to talk about it. We ain't gonna stay on here long because it's storming here in Georgia, but we just had to come on real quick, y'all, and do a quick pop-up show to talk about this midday pop-up show to talk about Shannon Sharpe drama. Okay, hey Queen Lily, what's up? What's up?
Hey,
What's up?
Queen.
Hey, call me darling. Hey girl, we did a quick pop-up show because we had to talk about some things. Of course, hey Jay Blake, we'll be going live
Hey,
tomorrow
y'all.
during our regular scheduled time to talk about Nesto and them, but we got to come to y'all and talk about this Shannon Sharpe. Okay, so if you're new to us, hello, welcome. Please double tap the screen and hit the like button. We are the Sammie Nicole and FeeFee show. We are a dynamic mother-daughter duo here on YouTube. On our channel, we love discussing all things love, life, relationships, and pop culture as well from both the millennial perspective, myself, Sammie Nicole, and the Gen X perspective, my beautiful mother. It's hell in here in Georgia, so we ain't gonna be on here long. We just had to talk to y'all real quick. So if you like our channel, you like what we stand for, please make sure you hit the like button and share our channel with other people. Also, if you haven't subscribed already, please make sure you do so. We typically like to go live each and every Thursday and Saturday in the evening time, but we like to occasionally do a pop-up show like we're doing tonight. So first things this evening. So first things first, everything we're gonna be saying is allegedly. Everything we're gonna be saying is allegedly. Even our names are allegedly. Because why? We don't know Shannon Sharpe and we don't know Gabby. Secondly, all individuals are innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. Again, all individuals are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. And again, everything we say is allegedly because why? We don't know these people. Okay, boom. Let's get it started. Shannon Sharpe, old ass knew, should have known better. Shannon Sharpe, about what, 56 years old? Shannon Sharpe should have known better, okay? For those of you who have been under a rock or you just been busy making your paper, because according to Sonya, only poor people keep up with what's going on in the streets. So for my rich girls out there that make 100K plus, who not aware about what's going on, Shannon Sharpe, who is a NFL Hall of Famer, he's retired NFL tight end. I think he's one of the best tight ends in the league, arguably. He also hosts the famous podcast Club Shay Shay. He also has a famous podcast with Ocho Cinco. Hey, Miss Red. Nightcap. Hey, Olive. And he's just popping. You know, he's a huge sports commentator in the sports world. He's on ESPN. He had a show with Skip Bayless before they fell out, and now he's been able to transition into the podcast world and really dominate with the podcast with Nightcap that he shares with Ocho Cinco and his own podcast club Shay Shay, y'all. So that's who Shannon Sharpe is. He's a Super Bowl recipient. He's won the Super Bowl a few times.
Hey, boys,
He's been around a long time. He's kind of like in the realm of like Deion Sanders, like that. So he has been accused of allegedly SAing a lady that he at one point in time had a consensual relationship with. She was 19 years old at the time that they met. I guess back in 2023, they met in the gym. She was working out. Allegedly, she's an OnlyFans influencer, allegedly. And she was working out in the gym, you know, trying to keep her figure right. And he approached her and was just very adamant about her taking his number and them interacting with each other and getting to know each other. And she said initially she didn't really like Shannon like that. She thought he was a big black old man and looked intimidating, looked like the usual suspect. But, you know, Shannon, he put that full court press on her, and she decided to take his number, and they started dating from there. She said throughout their relationship, they weren't always using protection, and that she was under the assumption that they were in a relationship. But after she found out that they were not in a relationship, then that's when things started to go downhill, and she requested that they use condoms. And so she is suing him for SA. Initially, she wanted $50 million. Now, before she filed, and her attorney is Tony Busby, Shannon was going to agree to give her $10 million to settle before she filed for the $50 million. But Tony said, "No, don't accept the $10 million offer. Let's take him Let's take it to court and let's try to get him for 50 million.
Yeah.
Now y'all know Shannon is getting ready to sign allegedly a huge podcast deal for 100 million. And this young lady is now suing him for 50 million. And prior to her filing suit against him, excuse me, I'm so excited about this. Shannon was going to initially offer her 10 million to settle. All right. Now, Gabby, her name is Gabriella. I can't pronounce her last name, but she's, I guess, white Latina. She's very young, early 20s. She has since put out voice recordings of Shannon alleging to choke her. Shannon has also put out their intimate text messages where she has been telling him that she wanted him to put a black baby inside of her. Basically like race play. Yeah, like somebody said in the chat. Called me down and said race play. So basically, Shannon has exposed text messages between him and his alleged accuser of, that she's talking about how she wants him to put a big black baby inside of her, and he's got to pay $25K per butt cheek, and like you said, call me darling. Basically, their text messages show that they're kind of into that kinky stuff. They like to talk about sexual things, and they like to do a little race play, naughty, sadistic, dom sub type of thing. Y'all, so for those of us who are aware of that kinky stuff, role playing. I'm the dominant, you're the submissive. I'm the big black strong black man, and you're the lily white girl that fiends for this big black man, this forbidden fruit, and the forbidden fruit kind of thing going on. Black man, white woman, lust. The society says I can't have you and we can't be together, but we're together, and we're playing out our fantasies and the tension and the aggression and playing into the stereotypes, all of that crap. So that's basically what the text messages that Shannon Sharpe released between him and the young girl showed. So now Shannon is saying that the young girl is trying to shake him down for his money, and that he never did anything inappropriate with her. Everything was consensual. But today the young girl has released audio where Shannon was on tape saying, "I should choke you, and I'll do it in public." And the title caption in the news headlines will read, "Big black guy chokes a little white woman." Okay, so it's just a mess, y'all. It's a mess. It's a mess. And I say all that to say that, again, Shannon Sharpe is too doggone old to be going through this mess at 56 with some 20-year-old young white girl. You have been an athlete for over 30 years. Over 30 years, Shannon, you've been in the game. You ain't new to this, Shannon. You true to this. What you should have done is you should have got with somebody that was in their 30s, 40s. Y'all should have made an agreement that you break her off, maybe 30, 40, 50,000 a month. And when you in town, y'all do what y'all do, how y'all do. You come up with a safe word. You come up with some boundaries. What's appropriate to do in the bedroom, what's not appropriate to do, what is appropriate and what is not appropriate to do. Come up with a safe word and have her sign an NDA instead of dealing with this 19-year-old white girl thinking that you can do and say anything to her and you weren't going to have to pay. The reason this white girl is filed suit against Shannon is because he didn't understand that you have to pay to play. Shannon wanted to take the cheap route with this white girl, and this white girl said, hell no. That's where you messed up at. And the white girl, Gabby, she did mention the fact that Shannon wanted her to sign an NDA, but she told him no. She said Shannon would not allow her to see the NDA. He was very adamant about her signing it and was trying to pressure her. And she said she stood her ground and she did not sign it, and Shannon backed off. That's another mistake you made. The minute she would have told me she wasn't going to sign that NDA, I would have stopped messing with her. But you were so thirsty, Shannon, like a dog in heat, not thinking straight. And you done now risk everything that you worked so hard to achieve. For what? For what? You come from poverty down there in Savannah, Georgia. and you losing, you are risking almost everything that you worked for some little young white tail. I don't feel sorry for you, Shannon Sharpe, because you too old to be dealing with this foolishness. You know better. You know the game. You know how these women get down. You know these women would not like your big black butt if it wasn't for the money. They wouldn't look twice at you. Let's be for real.
Okay. So, here's my take on it from a Gen X perspective. Shannon is 56 years old. Why Shannon acting like this the first time he had some Caucasians?
I don't know.
Why is he acting like he 20 or 30 and he ain't never had no Caucasian before?
Like he new to the game.
Why is he freaking out over this Caucasian? He ain't lost his whole everlasting black mind over this lily white girl. He is done. Like he ain't never put his penis in a white girl before.
And been doing it for 30 plus years.
Acting like a little horny little young black boy.
Yes.
He too old for this foolishness.
Yes.
Trying to live out a fixation of a ugly big black man from South Georgia that would have never been entertained by a lily white woman. But now since he got money, he can live out that fixation, that fantasy of having a lily white woman. Not realizing money don't change the game when it comes to racism. You still a big, black, ugly man from South Georgia. The only difference now is you got money. And that little white girl knew you had money. Did you think that little white girl was attracted to your big, black, sloop-footed, thick-tongued ass?
But the black women are the problem. We the gold diggers. We are the evil black itches who are always after a man for his money. We the problem, the black woman. We the gold diggers. All of the non-black women, they're the innocent women. They're soft, they're feminine. They love them for them. But it's the black women. We the evil ones. We the one that's after their money.
Now you getting ready to get this white girl this money, and she about to make a come up, and it's gonna be part of some generational wealth.
Yep.
For her people.
Yep.
For her people.
They finna eat. They finna eat down.
They finna eat off of your black sweat, hard work. You running on that football field.
Yep.
They finna eat off you.
Yep.
Because you had no self-control. It's no self-control whatsoever. You're immature. You're 56, y'all. We ain't talking about 26.
Or 36.
A 36? We saying 56. A 56-year-old man in a lifetime, a real man, has had a lot of coochie. And had an opportunity to get some white coochie. Shannon had lost his mind. You doing good over there on the podcast?
Yes.
Making money.
Big money.
So this been going on since 2023. The girl was 19. What the hell you want with a little mustard tail? Them little white girls, them little young white girls don't even clean that.
It's what she represents, though. It's the status symbol. And she's young, right? And most men feel like younger women, when they're older like Shannon and they're with a younger woman, they feel like, you know, they're gonna be more malleable. They're gonna be easier to deal with because they feel like black Gen X women like you, Ma, you guys are too difficult. You guys don't want to keep an open mind. You guys don't want to try new things in the bedroom. You know, you guys are closed-minded. You guys come with a lot of pain, a lot of trauma, a lot of baggage. Whereas the young women, they don't come up with much baggage. They're more open.
We don't want to fool with them because they got ED. And ain't nobody got time to be. And I guarantee you, Shannon, thing wasn't working.
Yeah. Too argumentative. Yes, Jay Blake. Yes.
Okay, and that's what they say about us. But what I'm saying about most black men, they got ED. We get tired of them patting it, shaking it, and talking to it.
Not most. Some.
So why they always want to talk about we this, we that, we this, we that. My response to them is half of the time y'all penises do not work.
So all this
and that's the truth.
All of Shannon Sharpe's hard work, he giving it right back to the dominant culture. All that hard work. This young white girl is going to experience, she has now been afforded the opportunity to create generational wealth for herself and her family, like you said, Mom, because of Shannon Sharpe. Because of Shannon Sharpe. And
see, she said she ate his groceries.
Yeah.
So half of the time it probably wasn't. I guarantee you it wasn't hitting for nothing. And you know they always want to talk about us sexually. Black women this, black women that. But I'm telling you, y'all.
Hit the like button, y'all. Double tap
They
the screen.
be having a time, honey. You be like, man, just forget it. But they don't want to talk about that though.
Yeah, God bless always. They also show appreciation to your pockets as well. Yeah, they sure do, to them pockets. And that's what Shannon is learning. And you know what? You know, people have gotten on to Shannon in the past about him preferring to date white women. And that's his preference. You like what you like, right?
We don't want his big, black, ugly tail, no way.
But what I don't like is when you try to throw shade or talk down on black women, and then you go for the women who are white, who you feel like are your preference, and they do you even worse. You have such a negative outlook on us as black women, but you can't see through the game with these non-black women that they're using you for money and for sex. They don't like you. They don't care about you. And maybe they don't care. Obviously, Shannon was just looking to have a physical relationship because he told the young lady, he said, I knew when I first saw you, I was going to F you. So obviously, all he was looking for was something physical. He wasn't looking to be in a relationship with her. And that's fine. What I think really was the issue was that he overstepped her boundaries, one. And two, he didn't pay like he weighed. That's what I think really pissed her off. She felt like some of her boundaries were crossed, and he didn't come with that bag like she felt he was supposed to. I personally think that's why she really filed suit and is releasing the voice recordings. And the reason I say that, and I believe that that's probably what happened, is because why else would he have offered her that $10 million to settle so they didn't have to take it to court?
Red Hood. Read that comment.
Let me read our other people's comments. Hold on. Jay Blake said he'd be right here getting a haircut, but wouldn't look at a black woman's way. He getting what he deserves.
Yeah. And to me, allegedly, it sounded like it was a setup. It was done intentionally. From listening to the recordings.
Because he had been exuding that behavior previously, and she said, you know what, I'm gonna get it on tape. I'm gonna get him. And that's what she did. And he fell into the trap. Call Me Donna said, I learned many years ago they can make you and they will break you. All of this was okay until he was about to sign a $100 million contract. They let you run amok until it's time to roll out that money. So you basically saying, like they said about Bill Cosby, he was trying to buy NBC, and that's why they throwing him under the bus.
You didn't learn from Bill Cosby? When will our black men learn to leave these blue-eyed, blonde-hair devils alone?
No, Mama.
When will y'all learn? You come from a black woman, the most beautiful thing in the world. We are the mother of the earth. And y'all tell over there to them white women, and they kick y'all in y'all butt, and here y'all come running back to us.
Talking about now they against him as a black man.
Here y'all come back running back to us. You know who he crying to now? His black auntie, his black sister,
In the black media.
and the black media.
But and that's a good point you make, because when he did y'all remember that interview he did with Amanda Seales where she was talking about her childhood and how she experienced racism from her teachers growing up as a child, and Shannon basically tried to gaslight her and make it seem like, oh, are you sure you were dealing with racism from your teachers? Maybe it was just because, you know, you were talking back and being disobedient. Maybe it wasn't about race. Y'all remember that interview he did with Amanda Seales? And I get it. Amanda Seales can be very annoying and obnoxious. But to me, it felt like he was trying to discredit or dismiss Amanda Seales' experience when she was trying to recount, you know, her story and tell him what she experienced and the discrimination that she had to deal with from her teachers. So I feel like, you know, the same way you feel like what Tony Busby is doing, who is the attorney representing his accuser, Gabby, his alleged accuser, the same way you feel like you put out a statement that Tony Busby is going against you. He's attacking black men. He went after Jay-Z, Diddy. Now he's going after you. And it's about race and it's a shakedown. Why couldn't you believe Amanda Seales, a black woman, that when she was coming up in school and her teachers were mistreating her, that was about race? How come you couldn't see it when that black woman was telling you about her experience with her teachers and it being due to race? And now when you going through this with Tony Busby, now you want us to automatically see it as, oh, they're being racist towards you. They're coming after you as a black man.
Before I take you out. Hit the like.
I just don't understand that. Like he wants the black community and the community at large to have empathy for him and to see it from his perspective. But when you were sitting on that couch on Club Shay Shay with Amanda Seales and she was recounting her experience about racism, you were trying to diminish her experience. Like, oh, maybe it wasn't about that. So you know what, Shannon, maybe it's not about race. Maybe it's just about you forgot to pay like you weigh. You see how we gaslighting you? It doesn't feel good. And that's another thing that I don't like about these men. They want to use the race card when it's convenient for them.
Yes.
You want to race bait when it's convenient for you. Any other time, oh, it's not about race. We can love who we want to love. We can be friends with who we want to be friends with. I don't want to be tied up in that black life, that political stuff. I'm just a person.
They want the white girl.
And they want the money and they want the access. But the minute they get pushed out and they get shunned, then you want to make it about race. We're not falling for that, Shannon. And for any other black men that do that crap, we're not going for it this time. If it wasn't about race then, don't make it about race now. Okay? Mm-hmm. Don't make it about race now, Shannon. Mm-hmm. Don't race bait. Because you get no sympathy over here.
You get none from me over here.
Yes, Mistress Monica, Shannon offered the young lady $10 million so they don't have to go to court. He offered her $10 million settlement. She said, hell no, we taking it to court. I want $50 million.
And you know what? She gonna get it.
Or close to it.
Or close to it. He gonna pay for this. And lesson learned. Because he should have left that little white girl alone. He should have left her alone. When she wouldn't sign what he asked her to sign, that should have been his clue to leave her alone. And you would think him being the age that he is, he would have some wisdom. Come on, my Gen X people. We have to have wisdom and learn from prior people's experiences. Experience don't always have to be your teacher. Learn from history. Bill Cosby is enough for every black man to learn from. Leave them white women alone.
Or make sure you have certain legal protections in place. Because this is the oldest trick in the book. This is the oldest trick in the book. Call Me Darling said the men on TikTok are eating Shannon up. They're not coming to his defense. So they finally waking up.
Back in the day, if he would have did some stuff like this, he would have been what?
From a tree.
But now they hitting you in your pocket. Same thing. Same thing. And they got him on a recording talking about what he about to. Come on, Shannon. You know better than that. To be on the phone with that woman talking like that.
Yeah, and then he had another case. Yes, call me darling. He had another case from a few years back. This is not his first case. And one of the young ladies' name is Michelle. So now everybody's trying to figure out, is that the same young lady that he was caught on Instagram Live with when they were in the intimate act talking about that's my Michelle, that's my Michelle. Mm-hmm. There's another woman who's filed suit against him, and her name is Michelle. So everybody trying to see if that's the same Michelle or not.
And then the young lady was 19. What does a 50-plus-year-old man want with a little 19-year-old?
Sex. It's about sex. I can do whatever I want to you, however I want. And he told her, he said, I'm going to do some things to you that'll make no other man want you ever again. It's sadistic. It's kinky. That's what he's into. That race play, that kinky, rough, aggressive, intimate acts. And he thought he could throw her a $1,000 and do what he wanted to. And that white girl said no.
And I wouldn't be surprised if she wouldn't have a white man behind her coaching her.
Tony Busby.
And another one. It's probably another one.
Yeah. She probably got a team.
She probably got a team.
Yep.
It was a setup.
And he fell into it.
And he fell into the trap. Come on. All that shit Shannon talk on his podcast, him and Chad.
He act like he know the game.
He act like he knew the game. Oh, yeah. Spitting advice.
Giving advice.
Yeah. Words of encouragement. Mm-hmm. And he got. Now he's innocent until proven guilty, but it just don't look right for an old ass man like him, y'all. And I want all my Gen X men do better, y'all. And if you gonna do some crap like that,
put precautions in place.
Yeah.
Make sure you have consent, one, and make sure you have them sign an NDA.
Because anybody,
and write up
when
a contract.
Money is involved, it's free game. Ain't no love when it come to money like that.
Yeah.
Ain't no loyalty.
Right.
And Shannon should know that. Shannon,
he should have wrote up an agreement, said this is how much I'm going to pay you a month. This is how many times I expect for us to meet up a month. Here's the safe word. Let's iron out what acts you're comfortable with, what acts you are not comfortable with, so I can stay away from it. And go ahead and while you at it, sign this NDA as well. And y'all do what y'all do. And y'all go on about y'all business.
Somebody said you ain't never heard Denzel and Samuel Jackson in no mess like that.
Because they know how to handle their hoes. Especially Bron. Allegedly, they say Bron make them hoes sign NDAs. And that's why everybody mad at LeBron. Because he's smart and he make them hoes sign NDAs.
If you're going to be a true player in the game, you got to learn
Running
the
the
rules.
hoes.
You got to know the rules of the game. Real OGs, we know the rules.
You need to have consent, put them on a payroll, and sign that NDA if you're going to play in that demonic stuff like that. Playing games like that.
So now
that
it's gonna cause mess.
Yeah. In that sadistic stuff.
And so people looking at him sideways. His sponsorships, you know them people looking at him like.
Yes, because now he a liability. Now what's going to happen with that $100 million deal, podcast deal? Worked hard to build his own stuff, his own platform, and now this. Call Me Darling said, someone said a lot of these men be bi and they can only be themselves and explore with white women. Well, allegedly, he is. Allegedly, they say he likes to deal with younger men, allegedly. That's his business. And I can see that. Why they feel like, white women are a little bit more open to them being bi or sexually fluid, wanting to explore. I can see that. And who knows? Allegedly, that might be the case. And so be it. That's his business. But I can see that, allegedly, and
I I just
You
think
have to have consent, and people when you a man of that stature and have money, you have to accept
Right.
that nobody is messing with you just off the strength of they mess with you or they like you. It's about money.
he should have asked himself a question: would this woman mess with me if I had no money? Would this
Right.
woman entertain my big black ugly self if I ain't had no money?
So you should. So what he should have did was, let's go ahead and write up this agreement, and let's go ahead and sign this NDA. To really think that you a player, you running these women, and they really like you, and they not gonna make you pay if they feel slighted. I think that was just naive of him.
Very naive.
Very naive.
And just acting like the girl wasn't interested in him.
And he kept pressing her at the gym. She really didn't want to holler at him like that, according to her. Allegedly. We weren't there, so we don't know. But that's how she recants the story, that he really was pressing her. And she didn't want him like that. Let me see. Call Me Darling said, LeBron got a flock of white women. From my understanding, TK called him out years ago. Yeah, and he make them sign NDAs. Yeah, I think everybody know by now that Bron, yeah. He make them sign NDAs so they, keep their mouth shut. So we'll see. We'll see. My 4T says Shamar said it's NBA, not NDA. That's hilarious. Yes. Shamar is hilarious. Yes. Yes. Should have had him sign an NDA, and he should have sat down and said, this is the monthly payment. Again, what are you comfortable with? What are you not comfortable with? And kept it moving.
He know us Gen X don't have all our business out there like that. He know better than that.
And he presents himself as being so private. So I know he livid about this. He should have dotted his I's and crossed his T's. He really should have.
Because it's not looking good for him.
It's not. And he may not have to end up paying her $50 million, but I definitely think he's gonna pay her more than $10 million, which was what he initially offered in order to settle.
She gonna get some change.
The suit.
For sure.
Yeah. And some people are saying the recordings that she released, they sound like they're edited. What did you think about that? Have you listened to some of them?
They are, but they gotta prove that though, right?
Yeah. And she's alleging that she does have a X tape of them. And, she's been threatening to release that. So we'll see, y'all. We'll see. Call Me Darling said Shannon is giving fossil queen. He started being extra when the allegation of him being gay came out. Him and his gay stylist was 20. When the streets started talking, he fired him. Hollywood, yeah.
Okay, Jay.
He got rid of Hollywood. I liked Hollywood. Hollywood had him dressed fly. Hollywood has been linked to some other athletes that he's dated and worked for in the past. And yeah. He got rid of Hollywood because of the allegations. But everybody know that allegedly it's true. Everything we say is allegedly. We don't, that's his business.
Everything we say is allegedly.
We have no heaven and hell to put him in if that's what he do. So he should have just kept Hollywood, if you ask me.
And this is just a word of advice. We know Shannon has this has been going on for the last 2 years, and we know within the last 3 years, 3 years, Shannon has been popping. And here's the thing, y'all. The closer you get to your dreams, your goals, your aspirations, the things that you desire in life, it's always going to be some temptation to take you off that path. Here come that blue-eyed, blonde-haired devil.
No, Mama. Allegedly. This is for entertainment purposes only.
And took that man off his path of success.
They called you Felicia Farrakhan.
Took that man off his path. She was a distraction, and I'm just shamed at Shannon, cause he old enough to know that wasn't the girl didn't want him. He down at the gym, she working out. She said he had been eyeing her,
watching her work
out,
spending just a few inches behind her when she work
Gawking
out.
at her when she work out. She ain't really interested in that big black ugly man. He looked probably was scary to her. He kept on pressing the issue. That should have been a clue for him to leave that girl alone. She didn't like you, Shannon.
But he had to have her.
But you had to have her.
He had to conquer her.
Everything that looks good ain't good for you.
Shannon say, gotta have it. I got to have it. He say, need it in his life. I gotta have it.
It wasn't the first time you probably had got turned down by a Caucasian woman.
Well, then you got to think about these men' ego. He like, I'm Shannon Sharpe. I'm
looking like
I'm
Barney.
Shay.
Exactly.
She ain't gonna turn me down. I'm that ninja. I can get any woman I want to, and I want you. So what's up? Come here. I synced you, and I want you. So come here. He thinking from a place of ego. Like, I get what I want. And you know that's how them athletes be. They be full of themselves. And really not even athletes, just some men in general, especially if they're well-to-do and they have money.
Even an attractive white girl.
To you, but to them it's different. The requirements are different.
Jay.
You know, when he dealing with a black woman, she got to look like Nicole Murphy. Y'all remember when he was like crazy over Nicole Murphy and talking about how fine she was?
Definitely baby.
And Nicole Murphy wouldn't give him no play. That he's that type of black man. If he gonna fool with a black woman, she got to be super gorgeous, like a Nicole Murphy, even though she kind of looked like a little Skeletor. But y'all know what I mean, or Nia Long. Whereas when he dealing with a white girl, you know, she don't have to necessarily be aesthetically pleasing in the face to our standards. It's just the fact that she white. She probably got a little booty on, little thighs on her, and that's good enough for him. It's what it represents. It's her white skin. That's the status.
Yeah.
But her white skin is a status symbol. You looking at it, she's not cute, but they don't look at it that way. They look at it as it being a status symbol. He thinking, I got a young, bad white girl on my arm. I don't have to deal with no old, out of shape, attitude, no perimenopause black woman my age. I get a young white girl that do what I say. And we ain't got to deal with no
black man with ED.
I'm just telling you, if I had to guess, this is how they think based off of what we see them say on social media. That's their mindset. Not saying all the black men, but black men like him, that's how they think.
And 9 out of 10 black men that think like that, black women like us, are not attracted to them. Yeah. Because he's definitely not my type.
No,
he could never.
And especially allegedly that he, you know, he likes a little bit of this and like a little bit of that. You know, at most we could be homies. That's about it for me. I can do it. He could be my good Judy, and that's about it. No tea, no shade. But you know, that's his business. So I just think that when will they learn? Again, that's the question. When will they learn? I don't know, y'all. When will they learn? They go through this time and time and time again. And this is just, I don't know. You get me talking about some Sammie, let mama talk her ish about these niggas. Okay, go ahead. Y'all want her to talk her ish? Go ahead. Go ahead and talk your ish. They want you to talk your ish.
I said what I said because y'all look. Look, I'm 58 years old. And I ain't been around y'all. And I know, okay? I know, okay? Half of us don't want them. That's why they go out other places, because we don't want them. Half of us don't want them. They ain't hit no shit. In the bed, out the bed. And that's just the truth. And you know what? Here's the thing. Us Gen X women, black women, we be trying to save them. I even tried to save one. He told me he needed 72 hours to prep to have sex. And I tried to save him. I said, you know what? This is what I'm going to do for you. I say, this is what we going to do. He said, I got to drink my water 72 hours. And I got to take this type of honey. I said, I got something better for you. I'm going to help you out. I got this natural herb that's going to work just like Viagra. I'm going to send you the link to the website so you can order you some. I'm going to help you out. Now, see, if a black woman was having issues, oh, I can't talk to you. You don't get.
You don't got that wet.
You ain't got that wet. I can't talk to you. I'm gonna go get me a young good. I'm gonna get me a 20-year-old. I'm gonna get me a 30-year-old because you ain't got that wet. I said, you know what? I don't have the patience for you for 72 hours, but I'm gonna help you out. Here's the link to order you some natural Viagra.
Boys Nana tell me some, what's the name in sight?
Boys Nana, I'm hit me up in the email. I shared it on my page. I talked about this before on my channel. I said, I got something for you. It's natural Viagra. It ain't going to hurt you. It ain't going to mess with your heart. It's going to get you right. It's going to have that blood flowing. He said, all right, what's the website? I said, here it is. I texted to him. A couple of days later, he hit me back. He said, shoot, I got me 4 bags of it. And I got my homeboy some too. I'm about to make it up right now and put it in my tea. I said, all right, well, let me know what happened.
Boys Nana said, okay, do they have something for the women?
They do.
Okay, email us, Boys Nana.
Email us. I shared it on my site.
Our email is down in our description box. Email us and she'll send it to you. Call Me Darling said, Shannon told Dr. Umar that black women didn't like him and they would call him ugly. Dr. Umar asked him, and you think the white girls think you're handsome? And speaking of ugly, okay, is Shannon Sharpe handsome? No. But here's the thing that we all know. With men, one, beauty is subjective, right? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. We know that. What she may find attractive, I may not find attractive, and vice versa, right? That's the first thing. The second thing is, when you're a man and you are financially successful and you have the means and the resources, it's okay for you to be unattractive, because let's be honest, most men are not attractive. You know, it's usually the women who had the burden or the expectation to be beautiful. Okay, so it's a lot of unattractive men that still get women. And it could be because of money. We're not gonna lie to and play. We grown. We having a grown conversation today. Money helps, and also a man's aura, his swag, his confidence. That can make a man very sexy too.
Yes.
You don't always have to be the wealthiest man. You have some men who are unattractive in the face, but they have a certain aura about them. They have a certain level of confidence, a certain level of swag, a certain knowing of self about them. And when they walk and when they interact with people, it just exudes confidence. It just exudes, I know who I am and what I am. Yeah, I may not be the finest man in the room, but I'm still him, and you're still going to respect me. And that's attractive. If we take away money and we take away looks, a person's energy, how they conduct themselves, how they communicate, how they treat others, how they treat themselves, how they present themselves, that plays a huge part in attraction as well, y'all. Outside of just looks and money. Yeah. And that can also make a man very sexy, and that can also help a man, you know, when it comes to mating and attracting a woman. And so, you know, I just feel like when black men use that excuse, oh, black women say I'm ugly, you know, a lot of times they find themselves ugly and they don't want to be with a reflection of themselves. And so while he's talking about, and I'm not saying that there hasn't been black women who call him ugly. Mama just called him ugly. Okay, so we know there are black women, people in the chat. We know there are black women that probably think he's ugly. But you also have to think about the fact that he probably thinks he's ugly too, which is probably why he don't want nobody that look like him. So you whining and complaining about other people calling you ugly, but you wouldn't even want to date nobody that looked like you. You wouldn't.
Yeah.
You wouldn't.
And
I know that goes back to colorism and featureism, and that's a topic for a whole nother day. You know, our community is very colorist. Our community,
Yes.
we deal with featureism, your features, your nose, texture, the texture of your hair. People of color, communities of color, we have a huge problem. We do. We have a huge problem with that. And that's something that we definitely need to address. And that'll be a topic for another day. But I'm just going back to that saying that you find yourself unattractive, Shannon. And you don't want to date nobody like you. And is it wrong that black people have said that to you? Yes.
Yeah.
But you've also internalized that, unfortunately. And you feel and think the same exact way. He does. He does.
Yeah.
And I think that's just a cop-out. I would respect him more if he just said, I don't like my features. I don't want to be with nobody that
And
look
I
like me.
guarantee you.
I want somebody else different.
And I guarantee you he looks just like his mama.
Yeah. And Big Mama, too.
And he
The
doesn't-
grandmama
and he
raised
doesn't-
him.
and he don't like black women. And probably look just like his mama.
Well, his black women are not his preference, and that's fine. If we're not your preference, that's fine. My issue is when they complain about us and then get with non-black women and they do them even worse.
My issue is when they complain.
You can date who you want to date. Just
you
stop
can
talking
date,
about us.
Right. You can date who you want to date, but my issue from a Gen X point of view with Gen X men, which Shannon is, my issue is they feel like that they don't have any issues when they get older.
Okay.
And they want to blame all of the issues on us Gen X women when we get older. And y'all, they have issues. And we could say, look, and I think who said it best? Tracy Ellis Ross. What she was saying is, I don't want no old man because I ain't got time for them to pat it, shake it, and talk to it for it to work.
That's what she really meant. But she lied to Michelle and said she didn't want no older man because they toxic. The really thing is she wants somebody young with a strong back. But she knew that wasn't politically correct.
She wants to be sexed down by a younger man. And she knows that she's not going to get that from most Gen X. I'm not saying all, but most Gen X men have issues. And it takes a certain type of woman. It takes a certain type of black Gen X woman to say, look, baby, I got something that's going to help you. I ain't gonna do you like most Gen X men do Gen X women and go out in the street and say, I don't want you because you no longer serve me sexually and I'm gonna go get a younger woman. I'm gonna help you out.
I'm gonna work with you.
I'm gonna work with you. I'm gonna work with you since it take you 72 hours to get it together.
Mm-hmm.
But see, black Gen X men don't give black Gen X women that grace. They say they want to go out and get them a young woman and get gat like Shannon got gat. Get their money taken from them. And then if they, Lord forbid, they get sickly. And the young woman leave them, and who they come back to? The Gen X woman to take care of them. That's all I'm saying. So Tracy said it. Tracy said, I don't want they old asses.
She said because they're toxic, but I call cap because men, any age group can be can exude toxic
now
masculinity.
when men said it's okay.
I think it was more so about she don't want nobody with no ED, and she wants somebody that's balanced. And you can expect a man, and you should be looking for a man to be balanced no matter what his age is. You know, you can have men who are Gen Z or millennials that are balanced, just like you can have a man who is Gen X and balanced. But that ED thing, that's a big thing.
Young men are toxic too.
They exude toxic masculinity.
But it's
that's why I didn't agree with Tracy on that.
It's easier to deal with a toxic man when you getting deep down.
Yeah.
As opposed to dealing with one that ain't putting nothing out.
Yeah.
And you got to wait 72 hours for him to get it together, and you got to go order something off the internet to help him out.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot to deal with. That's a lot. I'm glad you don't talk to him no more, because that's a lot. 72 hours? So that means y'all got to schedule it. You can't be spontaneous, nothing. That's crazy. No. Never. Never, never, never. That's a lot. That's a lot. So yeah, y'all. We just wanted to come on real quick and talk about this Shannon Sharpe thing. I mean, and like somebody said in the chat, you know, just so we're clear, we're not caping for Shannon Sharpe. We're just calling a thing a thing. And, you know, I think for most black women, from what I'm seeing online, none of us is really like running after, you know, Shannon Sharpe and trying to protect or defend him. I think if anything, we're looking at him like, Negro, we told you so. You know better. If anything. Now, to the commenters in our chat, she said that Shannon Sharpe told us to go buy our horsehair and leave us alone. He did say that. He has been known to, you know, give his clapbacks when people come after him on social media. And I get it. Somebody come for you, you clap back. And he decided to read them and said we as black women wear our horsehair and to leave him alone. And, you know, fine. Fine. But we're just commenting on what's going on social media. We're not running to his defense. We're just giving our opinion. So I want to be clear about that. We're not caping for him.
Shannon got himself in a situation.
Right.
That could have been avoided.
Right. Right.
And he's going to have to pay the price.
Yeah. And this is a great lesson about lust.
Ooh.
This is a great example. A great lessons in love, a great lesson about being lustful and not being able to control yourself, your urges, you know, your
no discipline,
your carnal desires, your that playing into that hedonistic urge, you know. And so at 56 years old, unfortunately, he still hadn't learned that lesson.
And I want everybody to remember that this man is 56, not 26, 36. Mm-hmm. He's 56.
Almost 60.
He's been in the game a long time.
Over 30 years. He's seen a lot. He's done a lot. So he know what's up.
He know what's up.
He know what's up. He knows better.
He knows better.
That's why we say he should have known better, and we don't feel sorry for him. We hope that he can learn from this situation, and we hope that other young black men can learn. That's fine if they don't find us attractive. We're not caping for them. We're not caping for them. Hell, we talking about it. We're sharing our opinion. We collecting a coin right now. You guys are engaging with us. Thank you. Make sure you double tap and hit the like button and subscribe. But I think most of us as black women, we're done with caping for men. You know, I think for most of us, I know I can't speak for every black woman, but I think for most of us as black women, we understand that it's important to love who loves you. It's important for you. It's important for us to ride for who rides for us. Yes. And now we just sitting back, eating our popcorn, drinking our kombuchas, and watching the show and giving our commentary.
As black
this
women,
is a show for us. We're not caping for these men. We just calling a thing, and it's unfortunate. But he should have known better, and he made the conscientious decision to make these choices and to move this way. So we're not caping for him. We're just providing our commentary like everybody else, like a CNN, like a Fox News, like an ESPN.
And as black women, love
it's news.
Love who pour into you emotionally, physically, mentally. As black women, that's where we need to focus. If Shannon likes those blue-eyed, blonde-haired women, let him. He can have
brown-eyed, brown hair.
let him have them.
Let him have them.
He can have them.
I ain't mad at him.
But just don't bring your big ugly behind back over to us crying on our shoulders. Deal with it. I don't want to hear it.
Because I'm going to be in the corner combing my horse hair.
Exactly.
I got to comb my horse hair and style my horse hair. I ain't got time to run to your defense, Shannon. Hey, Nesto Shackle Shuffle Walk of Shame. She said, it's Shannon Sharpe turn now in my TD Jakes voice. Get ready, get ready, get ready. Being Rendition said, well, we will wear our horse hair and eat our popcorn while you lose your money, your brand, your legacy, and your generational wealth. Yes, that generational wealth that Shannon Sharpe has, his career spans over 30 years, y'all. Over 30 years, his career spans. and that generational wealth that he's worked hard to amass. Think about all the racism and discrimination he's had to go through being a football player and then trying to transition into the sports world and be a sports commentator, and the microaggressions he had to deal with when he worked with Skip Bayless, and then to leave that and then finally build his own platform when people thought that he was just a stupid tongue-tied jock that couldn't talk, and he was able to turn something into nothing, into 100 million.
Come on now.
And now he's losing that generational wealth and giving it back to the same people who have worked centuries to oppress him.
Glory.
That's the lesson. That's the deeper part of this. Right? We taking a deeper dive past the salacious stuff. That's the point that we want to shed light on and talk about on this live. You know?
Yes.
That's the lesson.
Yes, Samantha. Yes.
That's the lesson.
That's the lesson.
That's the lesson.
You ain't went through all of that to turn back around and get into some foolishness? You know how many African American boys and girls look up to you? How many little black boys look up to you?
That's why they call him Unc.
That's why they call him Unc. Come on, Shannon. The minute that girl said no, you should have been like, all right.
As soon as she would have said no to that NDA, and I get it, NDAs, obviously they don't protect you against, sexual acts, but they do provide a certain level of confidentiality. And that's what I'm talking about. That's why he should have had her sign an NDA. So she wouldn't be out here so freely, spilling the beans. You know what I mean? That's why LeBron allegedly, everything we say is allegedly, has the ladies that he has his extramarital affairs with sign NDAs and other financial agreements. Allegedly, everything we say is allegedly. So
everything we say is allegedly.
So things can be in order and in place, and they just can't, go to the shade room or go on TikTok and do a 30-part story time, telling all of their intimate, experiences with him. That's why it's important to have NDAs like that, so you can protect your confidentiality. So very personal and sensitive information isn't just so easily shared on the internet and other public platforms, and this is another lesson about, like we said earlier, you got to pay to play.
Yeah.
You got to pay to play. And Shannon was in a transactional relationship. I know men like to say, oh, relationships shouldn't be transactional. But what they really mean is when a man say he's talking against transactional relationships, he's talking against transactional relationships with that specific woman. If it's the type of woman that he wants and he desires, he's going to be okay with being in a transactional relationship. And we see case in point with Shannon Sharpe and Gabby. He didn't mind being in a transactional relationship with her. And the agreement was she provide the beauty and the wet, and he provide the funds. And somewhere on down the line, there was a miscommunication. The expectations were not met with the finances, with the boundaries. Boundaries were crossed. Mm-hmm. And then it blew up in his face. Mm-hmm. And that's what happens when you cut corners. You knew going into it was transactional.
He cut a corner.
He cut a corner. The same way you was looking at her for something physical, she was looking at you for something financial. And y'all, he even told her.
Did he actually think the young lady liked him?
No, he knew what it was. And here's an example of how he knew what it was. So once him and the young lady started talking, he was like, oh, let's do a bet. You work out, I work out. Let's do a challenge. Whoever can lean out first, lean, get more lean, get more fit, hit
the light.
Hit the light. He told her, he was like, okay, let's do a challenge. Whoever can lean out the most, lose the most weight and get healthy, firm up. Y'all know what I mean. If you beat me to it and you're able to lean out more than I am, then I'll buy you a new set of tits. Oh. And in the document, she was like, oh, I was so offended that he would say that. I think she was lying. But, whatever. Oh, she probably wanted them new tits. But anyway, she an OnlyFans model allegedly. But that's just my opinion. That doesn't mean it's true. Everything we say is allegedly. But anyway, I'm just saying that to say that he was willing to, invest in her. He knew that she was an OnlyFans model. He was willing to help her.
Mm-hmm.
He was willing to help her by giving her a new set of tits. So he knew it was transactional. He knew he had to give something to get something. He knew what time it was.
But he thought he was going to intimidate her.
He thought he was going to intimidate her and be able to cut corners with her. And he realized that white girl wasn't that young and dumb. She wasn't that young and dumb. She knew to record your ass and keep receipts. Okay? Now, do I think they started off in a consensual relationship? Sure. And another thing, too, that we got to talk about, you can have a consensual relationship with somebody and still be violated by them, y'all. You can be in the act of having intimacy with somebody, and if you say stop while y'all in the middle of being intimate and they keep going, that's considered SA, y'all. Y'all do know that. So I think that this is also an opportunity for people to be educated about these definitions and how things work, because just because somebody gives you consent in the beginning and y'all are in the middle of an act doing what y'all do, if they say stop and you keep going, that you just committed a crime. That's SA.
Mm-hmm.
Stop means stop. No means no. Even if they giving you consent 100 times beforehand. And so I think that's another lesson learned. And Shannon should have been in Deion Sanders' camp when he talked to his young athletes about these women, these groupies and these gold diggers in the field. Shannon obviously dropped his book and forgot his lesson. Okay.
And that's what I'm saying. Perfect example why Shannon should have known better. Deion teaches on this to his young athletes
in his program, his football program.
Yes. Deion talks about situations like this, y'all. What is going on with Shannon?
Got too comfortable. And now you got to fight for that 100 mil.
Yes.
That deal.
Yes. All right, y'all.
So, all right, y'all. Being Rendition said, these old men don't have anything on these young girls. The game has changed. All right.
Definitely has changed.
The game has changed, y'all. The game has changed. So, yeah, y'all, that's it. We just wanted to share our opinions about this. Shannon Sharpe is a grown man, and it is what it is. We'll see how it plays out. We'll see. Do I think that Tony Busby is thirsty and puts out salacious things? Yes. I don't think he's innocent. I mean, Tony Busby, he's been accused of giving people allegedly STDs. So, he's not squeaky clean either. This is a dirty game that they're in. And you got to dot your I's and cross your T's and watch your back in this game and make the right decisions and not be so consumed and led by lust. So hopefully Shannon learns from this, and whatever happens, happens. It is what it is. Nesto Shackle Shuffle Walker Shame says Shannon Sharpe needs Cat Williams once more. No, you know who tried to tell him, Nesto Shackle Shuffle Walker Shame? Monique. Do y'all go back and watch, if I can find the clip, y'all, and clip it, I'll post it in our tab, our community tab. But do y'all remember when Shannon Sharpe interviewed Monique and they were talking about dating, and she was talking to him about, him preferring younger women and non-black women, and she was like, you need to get you a Elmira or Elnora or something. You need to get you an older woman. You need to get you a sister and just chill out. And she was joking with him. It was very light and funny, ha ha ha, but there was a lot of truth in that. And to me, looking back on that interview and what he's going through, yes, Jay Blake, she said an auntie. Yes, she said he needed to get an auntie. Yes, thank you. Looking back on that, I feel like Monique's words was very prophetic.
Very.
And there was a lot of truth. It was funny and it was light, and she was just playing. They was bantering, having fun, but there was a lot of truth in that. And it's very interesting, to your point, Call Me Darling. I'm seeing a lot of black men on Instagram and threads where they're like, yeah, man, this is why you just need to get married and settle down, or, you know, just get married and have a little side chick on the side or something. Don't be out here in these streets like, you know, all this crazy stuff. Hey, Miss MJ.
Hey, Miss MJ.
And it's just very interesting, to your point, Call Me Darling, where all these men are now talking about, you know, it's just better to be settled down. It's just better to just have one woman that you're dealing with. You know, get you a grown woman, get you this type of woman, get you this or that type of woman, and just stay out the way so you're not in this drama. But men like Shannon Sharpe, they like being bachelors. They're married to the game. They're committed to running these streets and having these as the young folks say, these 304. So, you know, will he learn? We'll see. Only time will tell how everything pans out for Shannon. But like I said, I feel like men like him, they're committed to being bachelors. They like being out in these streets. They like having multiple women, you know. They like to be outside. So we'll see. We'll see if he learns. But this is definitely, yet again, another cautionary tale. And it'll be interesting to see when these affluential men finally learn. Because I guess they all feel like it just can't happen to them. I don't know. Or they're just so caught up in their lust and desire. But maybe one day they'll learn, y'all. So, you know, we're going to be keeping our ears to the street and seeing how this plays out. You know, we'll see. We'll see. He definitely has a fight on his hands. So we'll see. Maybe he'll be able to settle. Nesto Shaka Shuffle Walker Shame said he needs Cat Williams for money. He broke the internet with that interview. Yeah, he made over, I think he made over $6 million off of that interview alone on YouTube. Yeah, he made a bunch of money off of Cat Williams. Yep. Miss MJ said these girls gonna teach them every time. He just stupid. Ain't they gonna teach him? That young white girl said, draw forward, reverse Uno on your ass. Okay, he thought he was this older man gonna intimidate her, gonna run game on her and get her to do what he want when he want, jump and say how high, and she reversed Uno on that ass and she flipped it on him. She flipped it. That little girl was playing chess, not checkers. He thought she only knew how to play checkers, and she fixed his ass. So, you know, just a lot of lessons can be learned from this situation, but, you know, I don't know. All right. So, yeah, y'all, that's what we got, y'all. We ain't got no more. You know, Shannon say it's a plot. It's a scheme that Todd set up to come up with the bullshit. They after him because he's a successful black man. He was trying to buy NBC. They trying to keep him down. They don't want him to thrive. They don't want him to do well. The white man is after him. He said they'll get him, y'all. It's a shakedown. It's a lie. It's a scam. So